All right, here we are, Star Goddess Podcast and the Crash and AJ blog on May 11th, 2020. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good day.
And, if you guys check these out each Monday, you might get a head start on something that's coming up for the week personally. And maybe if you hear that somebody that is an astrological sign that maybe you can give them a heads up what's going on with the Crash and AJ podcast here with Star Goddess each Monday. What's the theme there, Star Goddess?
We got 3 planets on the move. We have Saturn stopped its forward motion and goes backwards. It's joined by Jupiter. Tomorrow morning, on Wednesday, Venus, the planet of love, goes retrograde, we'll probably address that next week. But the big thing is Mars, the planet of ego-oriented projection, leaves the sign of Aquarius, where it's been for 6 weeks, and goes into the sign of Pisces, which is part of the let's reopen this country, let's get things going, let's get this show on the road kind of thing, where people are really just tired of being stuck inside. So, but I think it's important.
You actually kind of gave us the heads up on that a few weeks ago that this would be about the time that things started opening up.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when I saw that, and I based that really on Saturn going retrograde. Saturn going backwards is sort of when, we'll start to say, okay, maybe it's safe to come out. I think Venus going retrograde goes, hell no, it's not really safe to come out. And I think the big thing to keep closed are bars and nightclubs.
Yeah.
Things that people are really in close contact and spending a lot of time together. I think that's the challenge. I don't think you're going to get coronavirus going to the beach, eating outside. I don't think that's the case. So
salons are
but
opening
that's why
up.
I made that prediction.
Yeah. Everybody's getting
I'm all for that. I think that's safe. I do.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. My nail tech already, scrubs their utensils. The place I go to, actually, I have my own, where they say, what's your name? You go pick your bag out, and, it's your own stuff there. So I think that will work out well. But I think it's important because when we had talked about when Mars was in Aquarius, during this lockdown, you want to find new ways to maybe do things differently or start something different, or maybe put your foot, dip a toe in the water about starting new projects. And so now Mars has changed signs. Now we get to implement a lot of that. And so wherever Mars is where you're going to spend the next 6 weeks, really putting a Herculean effort forth. And I think it's important to know where you're going to get a result from that. So
the best place to put your energy to get that result. All right, cool.
Yes.
What you got cooking up for us then?
Yes, well, Tauruses, for the last 6 weeks have had Mars at the top of their chart in their 10th house of career and public standing, and it's been a real challenge for them professionally to try and rise, to try and do their job, with new parameters on how to do it. Well, all of that is over. And now Mars has gotten to a much more favorable position for Taurus. It's in Pisces. It's 2 signs away. And so for them, they're going to find that the group is going to work to give the Taurus what it is the Taurus wants. The Taurus is actually going to manipulate the group, which I'm a big fan of, as you know, manipulate the group to help the Taurus get what it is the Taurus wants. But the Taurus is going to make it seem like, oh, yes, this is really good for the group, and it probably will be, but the person who's going to benefit the most is the Taurus, and that's a really good thing for them, I think.
Oh, all right.
So
cool.
That's not bad energy to make the group get you what you want, which I think is a cool thing.
What do you want, AJ? What is it you need?
How much time do we have here?
I think you got the group right here. Might as well get it out there.
That's so
totally.
That is so true. So true. So, for Geminis, I got to tell you, the professional fight is on for Geminis, and Mars is at the top of their chart. It is squaring their sign. It is difficulty after difficulty. It's sort of every time you turn around, someone is challenging your authority. Professional turmoil. It's going to be out of all the signs, I think Gemini has a very, very hard time with Mars and Pisces. Gemini and Virgo are the 2 signs that have the hardest time. Great. I just realized that being a Virgo. But I was like, damn it. But Mars at the top of your chart means you have to fight professionally. Is pretty much what it means, and I don't think that's very easy to do. The professional fight is on. The best thing to do is probably not pick sides if you can avoid it, but I don't think there's any way to avoid it. So I just think that Gemini's everywhere. The big thing to make sure is that they're coming after you and not the people above you, and not to attend any fights that you're not specifically invited to attend. I think is the big challenge there for Gemini. And they will have the right to remain silent. I just don't think they'll have the ability, unfortunately.
Yeah,
for Cancers, this is great. Yeah. What?
Gemini's, it seems like deja vu for Gemini's over the past few weeks.
I know. They had a couple of good weeks, and that was it. Now. And even then, they're Geminis. Venus, the planet of love, has been in their sign, so I thought, ooh, I'm feeling the love, and now it goes backwards, and it's like, wait. Love, come back here, kind of deal, unfortunately for them. So I just think that's it's a big challenge with Mars is at the top of their chart. And they can look back 22 months and see that same energy, and if they can figure out what they did the last time, they can probably ameliorate some of the effects a bit, which is the best you can hope for.
Now, is that something we look to? Because isn't our president a Gemini?
Everybody can, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes, okay. Our president is a Gemini. And he was, doing okay with the daily briefings and stuff like that. And I actually have to say that everybody mocked him for talking about the ultraviolet light thing. And I just read a study that they're talking about finding a way to do that, and that he wasn't really that off base with it. So he got a lot of heat for it, and I think it was unnecessary heat. So
I think it's just the delivery sometimes.
Delivery can really change things. The way you say something.
It's the way you say it. Not so much what you say, but how you say it. That's very true.
Guilty
For
AF.
Cancers, this is, yes, exactly. For Cancers, this is great energy for Cancer, which is also good for the United States being a Cancer. Mars is in our 9th house. It's come out of the 8th house of whatever it is they fear. They find out it's not really that scary. The laws on their side, legal matters go very well for them. Educational matters go very well for them. Contracts, negotiations, important matters at a distance go very well for the Cancer. So all in all, Mars in Pisces is very, very good energy for Cancers. And what you were saying earlier, AJ, is anybody can look back on their chart 22 months. That would take us to probably the July or so 2018 time span to see similar things happening now that were going on then. But you have 2 years worth of experience on what to do right with that energy. And you can look back and go, oh, I squandered a good opportunity. Well, don't squander it again. By the same token, if I really blew an opportunity, let's not do that again. And if you took advantage of one, then that's something you want to duplicate. So that's kind of why you say those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. So I'm a big fan of looking back and go, how did I blow that energy? What can I do, to make it right this time? So for Leos, you asked inquisitively, I hate to say this, but they're fixing to spend a boatload of money on unanticipated expenses.
Oh, Lord.
And this is not, this is, and sometimes it takes money to make money, and maybe something along those lines. I just think they have more of a financial challenge. And I don't even think it's them that I don't think it's the Leo that incurs the debt. I think it's people that they are involved with incur the debt. And the Leo has to kind of come and bail them out. And that to me always says kids.
Yeah, it smells like kids to me.
Yeah, once you think they're out of your pocket, boom, they're right back in it, that kind of thing. So, and it's sort of, it's a 6-week thing. So, it starts off with nickels and dimes, and then, it'll probably get bigger. So I don't know how you head that off at the pass. But it's the first bank of mom and dad. Looks like they're going to be open. So for Leos everywhere, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know.
And I would prefer to be that, we've created some new things, and it's going to take a little bit of money, to get that going. But I'm not so sure that's what it's going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be kids with their hands out coming, going, I need.
All right, I'm going to hide my money.
Unfortunately. I don't answer the phone. It's a good thing to be quarantined. They have to come over and knock on your door and say, give me that money. For Virgos, God, I hate even looking down at this. It's like, man, when Mars is opposing your sign, everybody yells at you. Everybody points a finger at you. It's like, you. Partners are upset. Intimate one-to-one relationships get upset. It's a real challenging time for Virgo. And things have been going really well for Virgo. So they're kind of like, wait a minute, where is this difficulty coming from? And they don't realize that they are the ones that have created this. And I don't know whether they stepped on toes or what it is that they did, but they have aroused the ire and the opposition from other people, and they're going to get to face that for the next 6 weeks or so. So just please don't yell at me. I cry when you start yelling at me. You can say anything you want to me in a small voice, but start yelling at me and I'll just burst into tears. And it's also a time for them to take a hard look at their interpersonal one-to-one relationships and see whether or not they're working for them. And if they are, great. And if they aren't, it's time for the Virgo to say something. And Virgos, we think that, golly, how could you be that dumb to do that? Why would I have to tell you not to do that. But Virgos are going to find everywhere that they need to be articulate about what they'll put up with from partners and what they won't put up with from partners, unfortunately. So, And I think that quarantine thing is getting a little on everybody's nerves.
Gotcha.
So. For Libras, this energy is in the 6th house of work and responsibilities. Aquarians have been very, very creative over the last 6 weeks or so, and now they're going to try and turn what was an avocation into a vocation. And we had a caller earlier that was talking about making mandolins, and I started laughing, thinking, I wonder if her rising sign was Libra, taking something that she did for fun, and now turned it into a viable little business. So, and all I can say to Libra is take your time when you roll that out. Try it in small doses first before you go full-blown committed to a new course of action is what I think would work for them. So,
a lot of people are kind of with all the furloughs and the layoffs. People are starting to open their minds to different career paths and stuff like that.
Yeah. I had to laugh. I actually saw an ad in the paper. Chad Chronister, the sheriff of Hillsborough County, was going, hey, we've got jobs. We've got a bunch of jobs open. We are hiring. And I think there's lots worse places to work and lots worse guys to work for, than in. So, but I think that's part of the thing that the blessing in disguise of this sort of whole coronavirus thing is. A lot of us have jobs that it pays just enough money. It's not enough to really make us happy, but it's too much just to go take this job and jam it. I'm not working here any longer. And this gives you the opportunity to think through that and say, perhaps I do want to make some changes and to try it on for size. And I think that could be a very good thing. It could be quite the motivator in your life when you would not have quit that job yourself. But it's almost like the universe is saying, hey, time to open your mind to something else. There's something else that you might be able to do that will get you a better result. So I'm all for that for them. And Libra's everywhere. Mars is in your 6th house of health. If you start feeling poorly, you should do something about it. And don't think, oh, the coronavirus is on. I don't have coronavirus. I can't go see my doctor. Yes, you can. Doctors are still seeing people. Elective surgeries are starting now. And if you're sick, for God's sake, go to a hospital. There's only 20 people in Tampa General with right now with the coronavirus, and they got plenty of room. So for Scorpios, they have, out of all of the signs, I think Scorpios have the roughest time at home. Mars has been in their 4th house of home for 6 weeks, and if they haven't killed anybody by now, which is a really good thing, they're not going to. They need to know that pressure, is released. And now Mars has gone into their 5th house of creativity, love affairs, children, sports, amusements, pleasures, anything fun, anything entertaining. It's time to get back to enjoying your life. It's sort of the way Scorpios are looking at that, and I don't think that's a bad energy for them. I think that's a really good expression for them to find a place to take their creativity and allow it out and then follow it, so. And there's nothing wrong with the coronavirus hookups. They're always a ton of fun.
Get it, girl.
Yeah, why not? Give it a shot. We may die tomorrow. Who knows? That kind of thing. For Sagittarians, this energy, they've had a great time the last 6 weeks or so. For them, this wasn't really a huge impact on them. But now it's going into their 4th house of home, and there are going to be changes going on at home. And I'm pretty sure that after being quarantined with people for 6 weeks, you're ready to get them out of your house. We've had callers call up and go, my son wants to come back. He's been thrown out of his girlfriend's house. Should we let him in the house? And they probably did that about 2 weeks ago and have now said, okay, I'm done. You need to go find another place. That kind of thing. There's going to be Sagittarians everywhere are going to take a look at their home and go, we need to bring peace back to my home. I need to get my home back. You need to, move on and that kind of a thing. I think is very likely. Don't you have kids staying with you, Crash?
I have my son is with me half the time. We split duty with him, which has been pretty difficult with the whole coronavirus era of making sure that negotiating. Hey, where's he going? Where's the people that are in his house going? Keeping up with who's socially distancing and this and that, whatnot. It makes it tough for sure because everybody thinks they've got the judgment call figured out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think that'll be the challenge for Sagittarians everywhere is to restore the balance and peace and harmony in their home because the Sagittarians are very private at home. They're so funny. They're very social people. But you just don't show up and do a hospitality check on a Sagittarian. They won't let you in.
That's right.
They'll say, why didn't you call? You got a cell phone. Why didn't you call? I thought I'd surprise you. Here's a surprise. I'm not letting you in.
Yeah, no surprises.
That's how they are. They're very, they don't like that. You can do a hospitality check on plenty of the other signs, but not Sagittarians and not Leos. We think you're both of those things, so nobody needs to drop it on you, sir.
I keep the door locked, just so you know.
Yes. And I think Sagittarians are also going to start home home improvement projects. I think a lot of people have done that with their stimulus checks. I noticed a lot of new fences going up in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's like, yay, thanks. For Capricorns, this energy is great energy for them. They spent a boatload of money over the last 6 weeks or so, and now the pace of their day-to-day living smooths out to something they can manage. They have short duration travel coming up. They have some sort of educational opportunity, and this is not like, oh, I'm going to go get a master's degree. This is some sort of short online kind of course that can give them a better opportunity down the road in 3 or 4 months professionally. It's sort of like you want to take some sort of class now or some sort of certificate program or some sort of additional education that will make you more employable and get your employer to pay you more money when they're done, which is good for Capricorns. And they can't be scared about it. You know, they really need to embrace it and say, okay, I'm doing something I haven't done before. Give me a couple of weeks to get good at it, and they will. You know, it'll pay off for them, which is a cool thing as well. For Aquarius, these guys are fixing to spend a boatload of money, much like Leos. But for these guys, it is not, this is the Aquarian creating the financial problem, not other people. For Leos, it's your children, your parents, people, not you in particular running up a bill.
Right.
For Aquarius, it's the Aquarian running up the bill. It's the Aquarian that's going to be spending money left and right. And it's every time you turn around, it's $50 here, $100 there, and nickels and dimes eventually add up to big dollars. So
What months are those again, Aquarians?
Aquarius, January 19th to February 19th.
Okay. Keep my eyes on them.
So, yeah, well, just keep your wallet away from them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, this is not the Bank of Dad kind of deal. And they're, it's the type of circumstance where they created the mess, so they need to be able to fix it rather than have somebody else come and bail them out.
I think one of the Aquarians might be knocking on my door, actually. It might be to start make sense now, I think.
Yes, you can say, I'm sorry, no room at the inn. For Pisces, I think this is great energy for Pisces. Mars has gone into Pisces for the first time in 2 years. And Pisces are fired up by Mars entering their sign. It's a water sign. It's a mutable sign. Pisces, you got to give them a good argument. They'll kind of go along with it. Well, whatever it is that they've been thinking about for 6 weeks, they are ready now to pull the trigger on and go forward with. And the thing I like about it is when Mars is in your sign, you were concerned about your wants and your needs, nobody else's. And normally Pisces are the kind of sign where they think, oh, if I meet your needs, you'll go ahead and meet my needs. And that's just not the case. That's two people meeting one other person's needs. So for the Pisces, they're going to be very articulate. And it's hard for them because they're represented by a creature that has no vocal cords. So for them, they're going to find their voice. They're going to find their ability to express what it is that they want and need and get that met. You know, so that's not a bad thing. There are a lot of brand new starts for Pisces all the way across the board, and all of them are going to be good starts for them. So I'm pretty happy about that for them. I think that's great energy. And then for Aries, they have to be really careful just not to shoot themselves in the foot. Mars is behind their sign. It hasn't been there in 2 years. They have to be really careful, number one, not to bite off more than they can chew. And then number two, not to alienate what could be perfectly good allies. That's the trouble with Mars behind your sign is you start to think everybody's against me. Everybody's working against me, and not everybody is.
Okay.
And they have to not look around to blame other people. They need to also take a look at themselves to see how they contributed to that particular mess. And they can look back to the July of 2018, August of 2018 time span to see how they created that particular mess, because it's almost like your chickens are coming home to roost kind of deal for Aries. So, and they want to not start any projects. They already have a bunch of things that they've put into motion the last 6 weeks or so. And rather than starting new things, and Aries are big fans of starting stuff, not necessarily big fans of finishing stuff. So for them, they need to finish the projects they already have put into motion rather than looking to start new ones. That time will come in July for them. But right now, they don't want to bite off more than they can chew. They want to finish the stuff that they've started. So, and it's very rare that we have all three planets, you know, on the move during the same week. Normally it's one and then the other, but these three, especially Jupiter and Saturn going retrograde. Saturn is the law, the rules. Jupiter is luck and abundance and new starts. And with both of them stopping their forward motion, they don't go direct until September.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's Probably about the time Wave 2 shows up would be my guess.
Okay, all right. I was going to say, does that mean, then, sort of a hint for, possibly things to come with sporting events and things of that nature?
Yes. Although, I had to laugh because, Major League Baseball is talking about starting up again. Football is going to be going on, and both of those things start after Mars leaves Pisces July 1st and goes into Aries. So, that's something to look forward to, too. Yeah.
Now, when's the last time those two have been stopped together? Have we experienced that before, or has there been something else, that happened during that time?
Every 12 years, those two planets co-join. Every 12 years or so. And so the last time that happened was the 2008 time span, which was the last big recession that we had. Kind of interesting to see that, too. Yeah. And I think the economic impact is going to be much greater than they're talking about. They're like, oh, no, it'll be okay. Yeah, I don't think we're going to open back up and bounce right back. I think people have fallen into a substantial hole, and it's going to take time to dig out of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, you're hearing about a lot of big businesses like Sweet Tomatoes. That just closed the national chain, and there's other chains.
Yeah. Airlines are in big trouble. I read somewhere that airlines are losing $400 million a day.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe it. I wouldn't fly anywhere. I wouldn't fly anywhere. I think it's going to have a much bigger impact than the stock market is leading you to believe. So one thing I am disappointed in was I had predicted that when Venus went into Gemini rules the lungs. I thought that when Venus went into Gemini over that 4-week period, there would be some sort of definitive treatment for the coronavirus, something where there was some, maybe not, I don't think there would be a cure or a vaccine, but certainly something would come along that would enable you to treat it better. And all I've noticed the last month or so is new symptoms of coronavirus. Now it's like a rash, and kids are getting it, and I'm a little concerned about that, to tell you the truth. I was kind of hoping there would be a treatment so that when we did open back up, that, people, if they did get sick, they would not have to be shoved on a ventilator right away. So, and I'm not sure if I can't even pronounce the remdesivir. I don't know when it's going to be available for most people.
Right, yeah.
But I do know. That's my concern. With Venus going retrograde, I was hoping for a better fix by now than just one. So,
well, at least everybody's hair is going to be good.
That's right, and that's the important thing.
If you can get an appointment, it's going to be a minute.
Yeah, could be a minute.
And what do we get our hair done? What do we get our hair done for again? I can't even.
Yeah, right.
Where are we going again?
Exactly.
All right, there you go.
Exactly. So, I'm glad I'm a brunette. That's all I got to say. I got a couple of grays, but not a zillion of them, so I'm glad I'm not a blonde.
Star Goddess Podcast.
So best you can hope for.
Each Monday right here on the Crash and AJ blog at 98rock.com.